All right, we're here in Lethbridge at AgExpo with Scott Meers of Alberta Ag. We're going to talk a little bit about the wheat midge today. Thanks for joining us, Scott.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, what is the wheat midge? Where did it come from, and how long has it been around?
Okay, the wheat midge is actually a small fly, and it's a larval stage that does the damage. Where it came from is originally found in Saskatchewan in 1901. It hasn't really done any damage in Saskatchewan, and then all of a sudden in 1983 they had a massive outbreak of wheat midge, and then from there it's spread across into Alberta, into Manitoba, down into Montana and North Dakota.
Okay, so I guess a big question is, how does the wheat midge attack the wheat plant?
Okay, the adult form is a small fly, looks like a little mosquito. It lays eggs on the emerging wheat head. That egg hatches into larvae, and the larvae go down and feed on the developing kernels. And that's where the real damage is caused, by the feeding of the larvae.
Okay, so what kind of environmental conditions would be conducive to wheat midge activity?
The wheat midge really likes wet conditions. In wet years we get better emergent survival of the wheat midge. We get usually a delay in the wheat, which lines it up better with the life cycle of the wheat midge. And then also we get less parasitism, so we get a higher buildup and more damage because we have less parasitism.
Okay, so then how does 2011 look in terms of what kind of wheat midge pressure we might see?
2011 is a higher amount of wheat midge than we've had for a number of years, so what we're looking at in 2011 is a higher risk, and that risk centering around the county of Wheatland and those counties around it, so Knee Hill, Rocky View, Foothills, Vulcan, and Newell.
So when you say a higher amount of risk, in terms of numbers, what kind of counts are you getting this year or last year in the fall as opposed to previous years?
We're not by any means extreme in most of that area. We have a few extreme pockets right in Wheatland. For most area, I'd say it's about a 7 out of 10 on a risk scale. And the rest of the province, by the way, is really kind of low. It's that risk is centered around Wheatland County.
Okay. Well, I guess the big question as it pertains to farmers then, and their bottom line, is what kind of economic impact would this have on a wheat crop?
Yeah, what the midge does is it can both reduce grade and it can reduce yield. Grade is because the midge feeding messes up the milling quality of the wheat, and therefore it reduces the grade. The damage to the kernels directly can also cause yield losses, because you can actually lose entire kernels. And this can be extreme in other parts of the world or other parts of the prairies. We've seen 80% yield losses. We haven't seen that high a yield loss in Alberta.
So what would growers do in terms of management to help mitigate the effects of the midge?
As far as management, seeding early is probably the very best thing they can do. Past that, you want to start assessing the new midge-tolerant varieties, see if they'll work in your farm. And then if the midge continue to be a problem, you can bring that into play as well. You have to pay attention to what the midge forecast is for your area, what the chatter is about midge flight when it happens in late June, early July. And then you're going to have to get out and scout, see if there's a problem in your fields. And if there are high enough numbers, you're going to actually have to get out and do some treatment.
Okay. Well, thanks, Scott. For people who want to follow Scott, they can go to Twitter.com and follow him at AB Bug Counter. And, of course, you can always be reached by phone as well.
That's right.
So, thanks again, Scott, and we'll talk to you later.
You bet.